Peace and love, Moors. Happy Holy Day. Today, I kind of wanted to go into the origin of Christmas and kind of separate a lot of the things that are jumbled up. It's a lot of aspects of the Christmas celebration and a lot of misconceptions. One of those are the fact that these are pale, hybrid European holidays that have nothing to do with us, or that it was created by the pale Albion. Um, it's a couple layers. For one, anciently, the winter solstice, or December 21st, was a marker. In fact, solstice means it's actually a compound word. And when you separate sol and stis, you're dealing with sun and standing still. So the sun at a standstill is a solstice, winter or summer. So that's one layer of it. And when you move forward in history with the Roman ideology, you'll see it was a remix in the game. And they took that standstill principle of the sun and make it appear as if it's the son of God or Jesus. And then that story, as far as him being in the tomb for 3 days, that's a simple astrological expression that happens every year. So as you go from winter solstice, which marks the shortest day of the year, from 22nd, 23rd, 24th, the days are not getting shorter, the days are not getting longer. The days are kind of just standing still. The 25th, the days began to get longer all the way up until summer solstice. So the 25th marks the resurrection of the Christ, or the resurrection of the Son. This story was told anthropomorphically as the resurrection of Christ. That's one layer. Another layer, as far as the presence and being festive, all that came from a saint in Germany named the patron saint Maurice. He was very festive, and he was known for being charitable. And that's where the concept of that comes from. Now, as you can see, pictures of Saint Maurice, the patron saint of Germany. Dark. Wesley Snipes dark. Right? So once we understand that, for one, we the original people, so there's no pale holidays like that. Now, patron saint Maurice was a European, but as you can see, the original Europeans were as dark as us. So that's one layer of it. You can see the Holy Roman Empire flag right there. So as the master teacher will show you in a second, we have to comprehend the multi-layers of what we're dealing with when we're talking about holidays and Christmas and things like that, because the origin of all holidays come from us. We're talking about transits of the sun, solstice to solstice, equinox to equinox, the four cardinal points. And the position of the sun at these points ushers in a new season and does things for the the life and human beings on the planet, such as the Passover or the sun passing over the equator. And now you have plants blossoming. So let me just let the master teacher finish this out. He's going to cover a wealth of topics dealing with this situation, dealing with the holidays. I feel it's very imperative to shake the myths of this particular holiday. Because just today I had like about 5 people tell me, that's right, I know you don't celebrate Christmas. We don't do that European stuff. I mean, yeah and no. Yeah, no. I'm trying to find a brother Abdullah YouTube thing. They might have took it off. Okay, here we go.
Compass. A boat, you don't use that. You don't use that compass, this compass for that. This is a bow compass, B-O-W. The bow compass, some of you who are listening to me may have used in math classes for drawing circles. That's what this is. It's a bow compass. So is this a symbol that you put on a car? That you put on a building? It has a function. This is a plummet square for measuring right angles. It's a plummet square. So it's not something that you just put on a car, on a t-shirt, and say that's a Masonic symbol. You know, you're not allowed to have that. Are you a Mason? Well, this is the bow compass. So you see the misrepresentation that's out there about Masonry? And I just want to keep it plain. Now, so this is what my book is about. I explain the cultural function of what they call Masonic symbols. Now, let me explain the misrepresentation of Masonry. Masonry has been presented as, some people present Masonry as devil worship. And let me explain. Masonry is devil worship. Let me explain that, what I mean by that. The concept of the devil, that gory looking, grotesque, fire breathing, horns looking goat image, is a distortion of an ancient fertility symbol that represents the moon. The goat or the bull was used because of the crescent-shaped horns. The Europeans distorted that goat and made it gory and misrepresented it as the cause of the world's evil. It represents the moon calendar, woman, fertility, and power. You see what they did? They took that which is sacred, that we saw as powerful, connected to the moon, and distorted it. So every 28 days, let's go back, let's look at the moon cycle. Every 28 days, the moon revolves around the earth. You know that the moon pulls the tides. So if it has the power to pull the tides in the ocean, what do you think it has an effect on it would have an effect on our body? Because we're on 90% water. The word menstruation and month are derived from the word moon. So so every 28 days, the moon governs the woman's menstrual cycle. That's why it's 28 days. See that 28-day connection. So the reason why the Europeans have misrepresented the goat as something evil and a cause to the world's bad deeds is because they were suppressing the ancient knowledge of the moon and its natural connection to woman. Women are actual walking lunar calendars as the moon governs their menstrual cycles. So this is what I mean by masonry being devil worship, as the devil is a misrepresentation of the goat, which is a symbol of the ancient fertility symbol representing the moon, woman, and power. So you have the misconception that of the word Illuminati. You know, people like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Kanye West and other rappers, you know, the misrepresentation that they're part of the Illuminati and that the Illuminati is something bad or evil, and that's been misrepresented. The word Illuminati, lum is the root word, which means shine. The il is the prefix, means upon, shine upon. So it deals with the enlightenment of the mind. The sunlight, the sun stimulates the serotonin and melatonin in the brain. The third eye, you have the 33-degree Masons. They use the double-headed eagle. And the double-headed eagle, within the middle, the double-headed eagle represents the right and left hemisphere of the brain. And the right and left hemisphere of the brain is the pineal gland. That is your third eye. That is the eye that's on the back of what they call the $1 bill, which is not a $1 bill, misrepresented as a $1 bill. It's a one note. As a dollar is a silver coin, silver or gold coin. So looking at that. And you have what's coming up. We just finished coming out of Halloween. Halloween is the celebration of the harvest. Now the pumpkin was used as symbolic of the orange full moon. During that time period, the moon appears to be orange. This is why the pumpkin was used. Now there's a major holiday coming up. You have Thanksgiving and you have Christmas. And I'm going to be explaining the astronomical meaning of Christmas. Now in Masonry, there are two pillars called Boaz and Jachin. The two pillars of Boaz and Jachin. And what that represents, on page 67, I have here, and I'll have another better image of it. Of the two pillars. All right, also on page 78 of my book, you have these two pillars that you see in Masonry called the two pillars of Boaz and Jachin. And this knowledge, the knowledge that these represent, were known throughout the world. These are they represent two astronomical markers where the sun is at its two extreme points. June 21st in the northern hemisphere, the sun is at an extreme point, northerly point. That's called the summer solstice. On December 21st, the sun is at its lowest point of declination, called the winter solstice. Our ancestors charted those extreme points of the apparent motion of the sun thousands of years ago, and this knowledge was worldwide, the Europeans have preserved this knowledge in Masonic orders, and they call it the two pillars of Boaz and Jachin. But once again, as I said before, they've been misrepresented as just mere symbols, Masonic symbols. You know, you're not allowed to, wear that on a t-shirt unless you're a Mason, So that knowledge, once again, of its astronomical function has been suppressed. So the brothers who are part of the orders do not see it as astronomical markers. They see it as mere symbols. In fact, I remember when I was at the class in New York, and I had spoken on the two pillars of Boaz and Jachin. And after the end of the class, a brother who was a Mason approached me. He said, "Man, I was told, I was sworn a secret not to reveal the names of the two pillars, but I didn't know the significance of it." Let me say it again. He said he was sworn the secret not to reveal the two names of the two pillars, but he did not know the significance of it. Let that sink in your head. He thought he had knowledge. Because he was told the names, he thought that represented knowledge, only to admit to me that he didn't know the significance of it. They're playing them. Because you're giving an oath. Because you made, an oath or sworn a secret, you're thinking that you're getting something that's sublime and, you're special and important. But he didn't know the significance of it. So what did he really know about it? Knowing names of, being able to identify a name of something is one thing. That's important. So I'm not going to, negate the importance of that. But if you don't know the significance of it, are you more advanced than someone who doesn't know the names? How are you more advanced than someone who don't know the names? You know the names and they don't know names. But you don't know the significance of it. What's the difference? You're not more advanced. So I told the class, he actually repeated that to the class. Class had ended. And now at Philadelphia, William Penn, most people who live at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, there's City Hall, Philadelphia City Hall. There's a statue of William Penn at the top of the building. William Penn is facing northeast. Why is William Penn facing northeast? The summer solstice sun, which is the summer solstice, once again, is June 21st in the northern hemisphere, rises in the northeast. What they do in the masonry, there's the biggest celebration in all masonry is called the St. John's the Baptist celebration, which is June 24th. June 21st, June 24th. June 20th, which is actually the celebration of the summer solstice. They have a ritual called the cornerstone, raising the cornerstone ritual. So they lower the cornerstone symbolically in the northeast. Now, once again, see the connection of northeast, the summer solstice sun in the northeast. A lot of the brothers who go through that ritual or ceremony don't know that connection. They see that as merely a Masonic ceremony. Once again, the premise representation of masonry as a system of symbols. It's not symbolism. It has an astronomical function for civilization building. It doesn't belong in a lodge. This knowledge was known as a society, not in a lodge. And once again, it's not taught in lodges like that. It's taught, though there's a few people who know this, But as far as the large numbers and the large orders, absolutely not. So that's, now, we're going to lead into, I'm going to explain a very important holiday that's coming up called Christmas. And I'm going to show its connection to the summer solstice. December 21st is the other pillar. So you have the pillar of Boaz, which is representing of the summer solstice, and the pillar of Joachim, which is the winter solstice. Stonehenge, which is in England. Stonehenge, there are thousands of Europeans who visit Stonehenge on December 21st. The Stonehenge, they mark the summer solstice and winter solstice points. You can actually see the sun rising right between these. Between, you got the pillars over here representing the summer solstice and the pillars representing the winter solstice. You actually see the sun in between those 2 points every year, right aligned. The astronomical markers, and these markers were built all over the world. So I'm going to lead up to Christmas. So what occurs on June 21st is that the sun is at its highest point, and that is the longest day of the year. Its sun appears to stand still, because solstice means sun, sol means sun, STI, the root word, means stand. So the apparent motion of the sun is being its highest point, all right, can't go any higher, stands still, hovers for 3 days. At that point, the days begin to get shorter. Every 7 days, from June 21st to December 20th, days are getting shorter. For a period of 7 days, every 7 days, the days are getting shorter by 10 to 12 minutes. 10 to 12 minutes. This knowledge was known worldwide. We mark the points of time. So now you have a shift where the days are getting shorter, and when the points of days are getting longer. This knowledge was celebrated, marked worldwide. So now we continue through July. Days are getting shorter. Continually getting shorter. Every 7 days, 10 to 12 minutes. Throughout August, 7 days, 10 to 12 minutes. Days are getting shorter. South September, days are getting shorter. Now, what's called the autumnal equinox, September 23rd, where you have 12 hours in 12 hours a day and 12 hours a night. This would be about 11 hours and 40 minutes, 12 hours and 40 minutes of daytime, 11 hours, 20 minutes of night. And you can see, people notice these things, but don't know the astronomy of it. There's something they see, oh man, it's gonna be getting dark out soon earlier. Man, when I leave work, man, I used to leave work at 5 o'clock, it was light. Now I leave work at 5 o'clock, it's dark. What happens? What happens that occurs? This is astronomical phenomena that occurs. But I say, these things that we observe, but we don't attribute it, we don't know the astronomical phenomenon. We don't know that it's called the winter solstice or summer solstice. We don't relate the two pillars of Boaz and Joachim to that. We don't relate that to the cultural knowledge of timekeeping and measurement. It's just, I leave work in the summertime, at 5 o'clock, it's light out. Wintertime, they work at 5 o'clock, it's dark out. You know, and then you hear people say that. You see people say it all the time. So I'm explaining the astronomical phenomenon that is occurring and tying it into what they're referring to as Masonic symbols, Masonic celebrations. Once again, the biggest celebration ceremony in all of Masonry is St. John the Baptist Day, which is June 24th. And that is celebrated in many European countries. That is the celebration of the summer solstice. And that's so once again, William Penn is an observatory. So William Penn facing northeast. So you can see the summer solstice sun rising on William Penn's face because it's an observatory. And his back is the northeast. So the sun rises in the northwest. The sun rises in the northeast in the June 21st, sets in the northwest. So this knowledge being known. So let's continue. The days getting shorter, continue to get shorter throughout November. Then you have December, the first week of December, continue to get shorter. Second week of December, continue to get shorter. On December 20, 2017, and this is in my book here, I have the sunrise. You can go look at the sunrise and sunset charts. You can Google the sunrise and sunset charts, and you'll see. This is on page 88. We have the sunrise and sunset charts. On December 22nd, the sun rises. This is 2017. 2017, the sun rose on 7:19 a.m. The sun set at 4:39 p.m. The length of the day was 9 hours and 20 minutes and 3 seconds. December 23rd, the sunrise, 7:19 a.m., sunset 7:40 p.m., length of the day 9 hours, 20 minutes and 8 seconds. December 20th, the length of the day on December 20th, 2017 was 9 hours and 20 minutes and 3 seconds. There's a minus 6 seconds difference. So so people you can clearly see. So let's look at this. December 1st, 2017, length of the day 9 hours 32 minutes and 39 seconds. That's a negative minus 1 minute 15 seconds. December 2nd, length of the day 9 hours 31 minutes 27 seconds. Difference minus 1 minute 12 seconds. Let's go to December 7th, length of the day 9 hours 26 minutes and 18 seconds. So it's still getting shorter. Difference 56 seconds. December 14th, length of the day 9 hours 21 minutes and 37 seconds. This is page 84. Page 84. December 14th, length of the day 9 hours 21 minutes and 37 seconds. Difference is 28 seconds, a negative 28 seconds. December 18th, length of the day 9 hours 20 minutes 18 seconds. Difference minus 14 seconds. December 20th, length of the day 9 hours 20 minutes and 3 seconds. Difference negative 6 seconds. So now December 22nd is when you have a plus. So there's a 3 second increase from December 20th, December 21st, there's a negative 3 seconds. And then on December 22nd, there's a 3-second increase. So once again, that's the marker where the days are getting longer now. You went from decreasing, incremental, continual decreasing, and then December 22nd, there's a increase by 3 seconds. And that from that day on, from 7 days, from December 22nd, 7 days, there's a 10 to 12 minute increase every 7 days. This knowledge was known throughout the world. Christmas is the rebirth of the sun. Has nothing, Christmas, I'm talking the astronomy of it. The rebirth of the sun is not man-made. It's an astronomical phenomenon that we observed. We marked the time where the sun is reborn again. Once again, June 21st, sun is at its highest point. It's furthest north of the horizon. It rises highest in the sky. December 21st, the sun is at its death. Its lowest point rises, the lowest point is the shortest day of the year. The June 21st is the longest day of the year. December 21st is the shortest day of the year. And the sun is what rises lowest in the sky. So look at these points here. Now you have these, the summer solstice sun is lowest in the sky. The winter solstice sun is lowest in the sky. The summer solstice sun is highest in the sky. And the spring and equinox is at its midpoint. That's when the sun is there's 2 points where the sun crosses the equator. The sun crosses the equator on March 21st, called the vernal equinox, and the sun crosses the equator at the autumnal equinox, which is September 23rd in the northern hemisphere. There's 2 points where the sun is at its extreme points. That's the summer solstice and winter solstice. And our ancestors marked these. The sign of the cross is symbolic of those 4 points that was known worldwide. The point where the sun crosses the equator, and the points where the sun is at its extreme points. Extreme points, and then what? Begins moving back. So it's at extreme northerly point, June 21st, just reviewing, and then begins to descend south.
So is this some Catholic sign, or does it have origin and represent the earth glyph, or the 4 cardinal points, or the 4 major seasons? Just had to get that in there.
At the extreme southerly point, December 21st, it begins to ascend. Jesus rising again from the dead. So the concept of the story of Jesus dying on the cross, buried in the tomb for 3 days, rising again after 3 days, that's an astronomical phenomenon. And that same story is told all over the world. What the Europeans did was co-opted it. They transliterated the name Jesus from the Egyptian form, Phoenician, Babylonian, and Chaldean, the IA, IU, IO, IE. Those are bilateral root systems, forms of the name Jesus. They didn't make the name Jesus up. They transliterated it. I-O, I-U, I-E, and I-A, Phoenician, Babylonian, Egyptian, and Chaldean form of the name Jesus. This same story, you have Mithra, Buddha, Confucius, Dionysus. These are the same deities, sun deities, were known throughout the world. It's the same story. So this concept, and also Krishna, the word Christ is Kras and Krishna. So this whole concept of that Christmas is a European holiday. Most of the people, because of your social engineering, they'll say white man's holiday. And so we gotta have our own holiday. Black people, so Moors are classified as black, Negro colored, Latino, Spanish, Puerto Rican. And they'll say, well, because of European social engineering and the classification of our people being branded black, our people thinking they're black. So people say, well, black people need their own holiday. And they'll refer to Kwanzaa as black people holiday. And like I said, once again, Moors are not black. They've been classified in the United States Census Bureau as black, Negro, colored, African American, Latino, Spanish, Puerto Rican, and Indian, West Indian. So I want to just clarify that point. Now, Malala Karenga, let me even first say this. There's a 2-volume book written by Barry Shingle. Barry Shingle, the title of the book is European Holidays and African People's Mental Genocide. European Holidays and African People's Mental Genocide. Now, what is distorted about the title is distorted because Barry Shingle referred to the holidays as European holidays. What I'm explaining is that the holidays, I'm explaining particularly Christmas, and I'll go later on another viewing, go into other holidays. But Christmas is astronomical. It's not man-made. It's an observation of an astronomical phenomenon of the rebirth of the sun, as I explained. This knowledge needs to be known by our people. Barry Shingle, I don't know the limit. I didn't know the expansion of his knowledge. It's evident that he didn't know the astronomical origin of Christmas or the holidays because he referred to them as European holidays. If Barry Shingle had known what I know, the astronomical origin of the holidays, and that we are the ones that charted them for civilization building, for calendar making, for harvesting, for planting and harvesting, for navigational purposes. If Barry Shingle had known that, he would have never written a book contributing the holidays to the Europeans. The title is a clear indication that he did not know this. Once again, his title of his book, 2 volumes, European Holidays and African People's Mental Genocide. What causes the mental genocide in our people is Barry Shingle and others referring to them, the holidays, as Europeans. That creates the mental genocide. That's one. What also creates the mental genocide is the Europeanization of the images. We see these Christmas shows. So we see European figures. Santa Claus, which is actually Saint Maurice. The character Santa Claus is a character based off a life of a man who lived in the 1300s in Switzerland. And today he is known as the patron saint of all of Germany. One who's darker than me is the patron saint of the entire country of Germany. His name is Saint Maurice. He was a philanthropist. So the character of Santa Claus is based off his life. There should be someone who look like me. There should be no European Santa Clauses. I know there's no Europeans. They're gonna take their children to no malls and sit on my lap. I know that. I'm talking about in truth. In truth. I know Europeans are not gonna take their children to malls all over the country and have them sitting on a man's lap that look like me. I know that. I'm talking the truth though. They should not be. It's not a prejudice thing. It's not a prejudice thing. It's a truth issue. It's based off a real man. There should be no European Santa Clauses. European children should be sitting on my lap in malls. Somebody that look like me. But what happens? Our children sit on European males' laps. European children sitting on European males' laps. They're misrepresented. That's a misrepresentation. It's not made up. Santa Claus is not some made up. We going, all right? It's based off the life of a real man, Saint Maurice. That's who they're patterned off. Now it's also, you have the suit that they wear is a shaman suit. The shaman wear that suit with black boots, and they go out and pick out the mascara mushrooms, the red and white mushrooms, which is high in hallucinogenics. So the shamans enter the house through the chimney.
Look it up.
So these are actual accounts. These not made up stories.
Look it up.
It's not a made up outfit. That's a shaman outfit. And the candy canes are the representative of the red and white mushrooms. The stockings are representative of the red and white mushroom because the shamans would dry out the mushrooms on the mantle. So they're actual accounts. But because you really don't know the origin, we think it's some European holiday that they made up. They didn't make anything up. It's actual truth. It's not made up. It's that we don't know the origin of it. So therefore, just relegated to some made-up story that the Europeans did, and this is their holiday. You see the damage of that title, European holidays, and African people mental genocide. Something that we celebrated as far as the celebration, the gift giving, decorating the tree, the star, which is Venus, the Sirius, based in astronomy, we attributing that to Europeans. They say, December 26th is my holiday. So I don't deal with that white man Christmas stuff. I'm African. I gotta have my own. I celebrate Kwanzaa. Now I say this. Malana Karenga, I've never heard Malana Karenga say, nor did I read, that he developed Kwanzaa as a substitute for Christmas. I never heard him say that, nor did I read that. However, I have heard hundreds of people over the period of 20, 30 years say that they use Kwanzaa as a substitute for Christmas. Now, that's quite logical because it's the day after. December 25th, December 26th. It's the day after. Not knowing that Christmas is an African holiday. Christmas is an African holiday. Once again, it's based in astronomy. I'm going to go sticking heavily on the astronomy. Why? To get people out of this worshiping mentality. This mere idol worshiping mentality. We got to get them the math and science. The only way to get our people out of the idol worshiping mentality, we have to restore the math and the science of it. If you're not going to do that, therefore will forever be subjugated to the idol worshiping of it. And only the math and the astronomy is going to get them out of it, because that's the epistemology, which is the branch in philosophy that deals with how one knows knowledge. Go back to the origin of it. What is the epistemology? The astronomy, charting where the sun is at its lowest point, because you want to see so that the sun is what you're charting when the sun is going to be born. So you're charting and calculating for seasonal changes. It was important that we charted the seasonal changes, knowing when to harvest and when to plant and when to harvest. We did that for our survival. This was known throughout the societies, not known just by a few. This was common day, something that doesn't have to be taught in schools. Why? You don't need to teach in schools because it's something that's known, that's taught at home, that you just do. It's just something that's known, that's done. That you see your mother doing it, and 10 people across the street doing it. This was known. You have your sunstone circles that marks the sunstone circles have 4 openings. Once again, the sign of the cross. It's not a European thing. The sign of the cross is emblematic of the 4 seasons. There are sunstone circles. All right, they're called sunstone circle. Example of a sunstone circle. Let's go to this page 73. In Masonry, this is known as the point within a circle. Now this is ancient. This is a sun. This image here represents Ra, the glyph for Ra. They call it the quote unquote Egyptian sun god. That's what that point within the circle. Now it's also emblematic. Now you see here on page 73 above it, you have a pillar, a single pillar. It could be either a pole or a long stick that you would place where there is. You have to place it where there's no shadows. There's no shadow cast with trees. It has to be an opening. Because you need this stick here, because you're going to see that when the sun rises, it's going to cast a shadow off the pole or stick or pillar that you place. And you see here that you determine the time of day it is based on where the shadow is cast during the course of the day or during the course of the season. This knowledge was known throughout the world. Our brothers who connection of it. It's just, once again, a mere Masonic symbol. And I'm saying these are not.
So I hope this was helpful in breaking the misconceptions of one, holidays such as Christmas being a European holiday. Now it is in the sense of we are the original Europeans, if you want to look at it like that. But most of our people are looking at it like it's the white man's holiday. Even though us as Moors know that's a political status and they're not even a white man. But you get the point. It's not the Albion holiday. All holidays are dealing with markers of where the sun is at, ushering in a new season and what this new season does for the earth planet, such as crops growing, like the master teacher said, when to harvest, when to plant. These were signs, markers, nothing to do with praise and nothing. The birth of this blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus Christ guy. Happy holiday, Moors. Peace and love. Islam.